Former President Obama's recent visit to South Africa stirs some controversy, and One America's Kristian Rouz explains.
Former President Barack Obama goes to South Africa to deliver a speech on 100th birthday of the late radical left leader Nelson Mandela. In his speech, Obama praised the black majority government of the African National Congress, or ANC, and didn't miss a chance to attack President Trump.
And a politics of fear and resentment and retrenchment began to appear. And that kind of politics is now on the move. Look around. Strongman politics are ascendant suddenly.
Obama's visit and endorsement of Mandela has stirred some controversy. Over the past few years, the ANC government has been advancing the policies of white genocide against South Africa's ethnic minority, the Afrikaner people. Obama fully endorsed what he called Mandela's vision of democracy and civil rights, a vision that turned the once prosperous South African economy into a failed state system of institutionalized corruption, criminal and racial violence, and 30% unemployment.
It's fitting that so much of the world is here this week to celebrate Nelson Mandela. He started as a very young man, your age, trying to liberate his country. He then inspired me, and I got started in my work.
Obama went even further, attributing the recent triumph of the French national football team exclusively to the players of African descent.
And if you doubt that, just ask the French football team that just won the World Cup. Not all of those folks look like Gauls to me, but they're French.
A minor detail, just hours ahead of Obama's visit to South Africa, notorious Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro said exactly the same words, reinforcing the far-left attacks against Europe and North America as inherently racist.
France with its African players, the sons of Africans. Africans who migrated to France were able to get to the World Cup. Europe must end racism against African migrants in Europe. Stop racism against migrants.
Maduro is known to have run his oil-rich country into the abyss of hyperinflation, economic recession, as well as rampant poverty and crime. These tendencies are explicitly obvious in present-day South Africa, a far cry from that country being the largest and most industrialized economy on the African continent just 3 decades ago. For years, the ANC has turned a blind eye on the racially motivated farm murders, but Afrikaners armed themselves and joined self-defense camps, some ran by Israeli operatives. The ANC proceeded with a land reform, which would seize white-owned properties without compensation for the sake of greater social justice, pushing the Afrikaner minority into an even greater economic and societal isolation in their own country. Moreover, the ANC has firmly aligned itself with the global anti-Israel and pro-mass migration forces, a stance identical to some Democrats' calls for loose borders and a lack of support for Israel in the US.
People must learn to hate. And if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love.
In the wake of Obama's praise for the ANC, America's deep social and political divide, economic inefficiency and weak borders don't appear quite as surprising any longer.
And when they have a problem with MS-13 gangs and all of these others that came in through these horrible and weak immigration laws, all of a sudden you see nests of MS-13. You know, it's like you're liberating towns. We send ICE in.
After his full endorsement of South Africa's government, Obama has safely returned to his gated Illinois retreat. So much for the values of open borders and equality. Meantime, South Africa is inching closer to a full-out race war and partition amid the levels of violence unseen since the Anglo-Boer wars of the past centuries. Kristian, Rouz, One American News.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.